wanted to ask you today is about research, because some people come to us with very little information, very little documentation. What is it that you can do for people that just don't have anything about their ancestors?
Well, thank you for this question. The research is actually, I think, the most interesting part of my job, because I sometimes find some whole stories that the families doesn't even know about, or the applicants about their grandfather or something. So what we basically do for the client, we are digging up in the archives and finding as much documents and information as possible about their ancestors. Now we need at least a little piece of information to be able to find these documents. For example, to find a birth certificate, we usually need to know the name, or at least the surname, and the place. The date is not so important, because for every village there was a special registry book kept, so they can find it there. Doesn't matter if it was that year or 2 years later. But the place is important, because we need to actually find in which place they were born. So this is the birth, marriage, death certificates, but we also sometimes need to find information about the citizenship. So this is usually done in National Archives of the Czech Republic in Prague, or in some district archives. The problem is that the documents are often in different archives. One part is in district, the second part is in National Archives, but we have some experience with that, so we usually know where the documents could be stored.
And tell me, Jakub, are archives in the Czech Republic centralized? In other words, is there a particular website you can go to and you can find all the records, or how are the archives structured and organized?
It's very complicated structure, because there's the National Archive, which is like the highest one. Then we have like 8 regional archives, but these are like huge regions, and then every district has their own archive. So you need to try all the options. And then we have the specialized archives, like the military archive of the security forces, which is like Communist Secret Police archive. So they are, I would say, they aren't really centralized, to be honest. There is a structure, but you need to contact usually a few of them to get the results you need.
And who can get access to the archives? Do you need special permission? Do you need a special license? How does that work?
Well, everyone can access these archives, but you need to prove your kinship to the person you are asking the information about, which is logical. In my case, I need a letter of authority or power of attorney to actually prove that that the client
act on behalf of the client. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And for the vital records like birth, marriage, death certificates, you also need to prove this kinship, but if a certain period of time passed, anyone can access these records. So in the case of the birth records, it's 100 years. In case of wedding records or marriage certificates, it's 75 years. And in case of death certificates, it's 30 years. So after this period, anyone can ask for these documents. But the problem with the archives is sometimes that they require, for example, payment from the Czech bank account, or just send it to the Czech address. So this is what complicates it a little for example, applicants from United States, for example. But otherwise, theoretically, anyone can ask for these documents.
And given the Czech Republic's history and also geopolitical placement on the map, and the fact that borders have changed a lot, where else can you find archival documents if they don't, exist in the Czech Republic? Where could they be?
Well, some of them are in Slovakia, where different laws applies. They are actually more strict about it. But usually most of the documents are still stored in the Czech Republic. They were either returned or they were destroyed, and well, in that case, you cannot actually access them anywhere. Some of them are on some online websites. Some websites, for example, a lot of documents about Jewish people from the Czech Republic are there, about the Holocaust, but this is just a small part actually, and I would say 95% is still stored physically in the archives.
Amazing, amazing. So if you hear, those of you that are watching, that records in the Czech Republic don't exist, it's not actually true. I think they're quite well preserved. You don't just have to know where to go. And sometimes you have to go to other countries like Slovakia or even Germany. If your family were displaced during the war or after the war, there are lots of really good records. If you want to explore your family history, your family heritage with the view of obtaining European citizenship, definitely can contact Jakub or his colleague Alexandra, who's based in Melbourne. So Jakub, for today, I just wanted to thank you for your time and explaining how the archives work. You're obviously the expert, so don't be surprised if people contact you with lots of questions.
Thank you very much, Eva. I'm looking forward for all the emails.